gentlemen, we now ask all members of the United States Armed Forces to stand and be recognized. As we approach the 51st anniversary of Wayne Memorial High School, honoring our veterans and fallen alumni is a responsibility the entire community shares. By coming together, we can ensure that our sacrifice is never forgotten, that their sacrifice is never forgotten. Let's give all of our brave heroes a round of applause. We ask that you please rise and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome into William Elliott Athletic Field as we count you down to kickoff in the city championship game between the Westland John Glenn Rockets and the Zebras of Wayne Memorial. Ryan Wooley here with you. It is the 53rd all-time meeting between these two crosstown rivals, and this has been a series that's been dominated by John Glenn over the years, 42-10. In fact, the Rockets' last loss back in 2006 when they fell 8-7. It was also part of 3 straight wins for Wayne Memorial, but this has been a season of turnover for Wayne Memorial. You knew coming in, look, Mike Ryan, their head coach, he's trying to change the culture here in Wayne, Michigan. I had a great talk with him earlier this week, and they won their first game of the season. That was against Lansing Eastern, 34-7. That snapped a 25-game losing streak. Their last win prior to that, 2019 against Salem, and that was the last game of the season. Meantime, great season for the Rockets under the direction of head coach Jason Mensing. Now in his second year, they're 4-0, and they're trying to move to 5-0 for the first time since 2014 when they made the playoffs, or at least win 5 games in a season, and that was back in 2014. But the Rockets won the coin toss tonight. They've elected to defer, so they will receive it in the second half, and they will kick it off, and it's going to be fielded here by Wayne at the 15-yard line, right side, near side, breaking a couple tackles and stumbling forward is Matthew Gadet. You're going to hear his name quite a bit in this game. Matthew Gadet is Wayne Memorial's starting running back, and Mike Ryan told me earlier this week that he is a guy that every coach wants on his team. Very coachable, very likable. He's listening. He's doing all the little things that a coach would want. He's only a sophomore, 5'8", 171 pounds. And again, he's number 7, lining up in the backfield. And the Zebras will start here, 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line. Pretty exciting time for both of these teams. The community coming out in full force. A lot of Rocket fans across the sideline. Man moves in motion. Handoff goes to Gadet. He'll go right up the middle and really nowhere to go. He's brought right back down. Maybe a gain of a yard, but it looked like he was stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Tackled right there by Jermaine Gums. Gums was another guy that Jason Mensing talked to me about, more so on the offensive side. He also plays tight end, said he's a very good physical blocker, has great hands. They don't throw to him a lot, but he's a third-year starter, and he brings that awareness to the varsity level. And we have an official stoppage right now, and coming out right now is Wayne Memorial's quarterback. That's Devin Peters. So Peters looks to be adjusting something on his helmet. Mike Ryan stepping out on the field. So Peters still looking at something here at his helmet. The official saying to wind the clock. And now that's going to force a timeout here early on. So not what you wanted right out of the gate if you are head coach Mike Ryan. So first timeout of the game, scoreless, just underway, 11:25 to play here in the first quarter. But I talked about Wayne coming in, again, 25-game losing streak. They snapped it against Lansing Eastern. It was a 34-7 victory, dominant win. But after that, 3 straight losses. They lost to Livonia Churchill 48-6, then fell to Dearborn Fordson 44-8, and then just most recently to Livonia Franklin 47-0. In that game, Peters, he was 8 of 15, 78 yards and an interception. But more so, the problem in that game was the fact that they couldn't secure the ball. They turned it over 3 different times. They had 3 fumbles and that interception. 1 fumble was returned for a touchdown. So if they have any hope of finding a way to knock off the Rockets, who again are trying to move to 5-0 on the season, they have to protect the football. So because of the timeout, Peters now can come back into the game. So whatever issue he was having with his helmet is now resolved. He'll go shotgun. Tailback split right side, sends a man in motion. Hard snap, throws left. Caught into the backfield, and another couple yards gained, maybe about 4. Pass completed over to Dwayne Jones. Jones has been a dynamic receiver here for Wayne so far this season. 21 receptions, 331 yards. Also has 3 touchdowns on the year, and that last completion will now bring up just about a 3rd down and 3. So again, Peters comes from the shotgun. Glenn's showing blitz here. Scoreless here, first quarter. Peters, little pitch into the backfield. That's Cadet. Shakes 1 tackle, dives forward, and it looks like he may have it. Depends on where the spot is. He gets up to the 40. That is where he needed to go. And Hunter Cooper comes in, and that will move the chain. So the first down of the game, and that is big. Again, one of the keys to this game, Mike Ryan told me, is they have to sustain drives. 1, they have to get John Glenn off the field. They're big up front. They have to get Glenn in 3-and-out situations. But number 2, they have to keep moving the chains, and that's a good sign. First down of the game, 3 plays in. So here we go. Peters again in the shotgun. Another man in motion, moves right side. Low snap. Cadet nearly took the handoff. Peters got nowhere to go. Shakes the tackle, and then he's met in the backfield. Bunch of John Glenn Rockets finding their way in for the tackle. Tyler Radley leading the charge for John Glenn. Radley, from what Jason Mensing was telling me earlier this week, is a D2 guy at the next level. Called him an awesome young man, said he's great in the classroom. Well, that's going to be a loss of about 2 on the play, so that'll be up 2nd down and 12. So we've now seen Denier Harris-Wright and Dwayne Jones both move in motion. There goes Harris-Wright. He goes left side. Peters with it, looks left, throws, complete, and that one's up to the 50-yard line. Nice throw. Wicker makes the stop for John Glenn, and that's going to be enough to move the chain. So how about that? 2 first downs, opening drive. That was Dearius Howley who hauls it in. That's Howley's 10th reception on the season at 57 yards coming into the game.
First down, Wayne.
Coming up on 9 minutes here in the first quarter. Again, city championship game. Wayne trying to win their first city title in 16 years. That's right again. Moves in motion. Fakes the handoff to Cadet. Peters slips the sack, and then he's brought down. Nowhere to go. Ball pops out. It's picked up by the Rockets and rumbling into the end zone. Touchdown, John Glenn. That's Ricky Smith who recovered the fumble. He takes it all the way in for the score. It started with Peters trying to avoid the first sack. Second attempt for the pressure came in, and then rumbling his way down was Ricky Smith. So after all the good that Wayne had on this opening possession, 2 first downs, they cough it up like they did last week. This one's taken back. It's 6-0 Rockets. So now the question is, will they go for the extra point or will they go for 2? Right now they're lining up to go for 2. So Wicker going up under center. He's got it himself, weaves his way in, and Dougie Wicker completes the 2-point conversion. And just like that, 8:45 to play here first quarter, and the Rockets have an 8-0 lead. Well, that will take the air out of the arena, no doubt about it. You know, typically in years past, you might remember the city championship game was played in the final game of the season. And I was talking to some people up here in the press box about it, and they talked about, you know, sometimes it would be 3 rows deep lining the stadium with how much this game meant. But when it's played here in the middle of the season, a lot of the luster maybe have taken off of it, but there's still a great crowd here across the way. You got a lot of John Glenn faithful in attendance. You got a good crowd here on the Wayne Memorial side. Actually saw a couple of neighbors that I grew up with here. Bill and Sherry Barber in attendance. Donnie and Darcy Coughlin, they're across the way. They were telling me they haven't been to a John Glenn game in many, many years. And, of course, Donnie graduated from John Glenn. Bill and Sherry Barber went to Wayne Memorial. So it brings out the faithful for both sides. Here we go. Kick return, fielded at the 5. Dodging one tackler, gets up to the 30, does Dwayne Jones. So second offensive series here for the Zebras. They now trail 8-0. And they once again will start at the 30-yard line. You know, and I started the broadcast too talking about how Wayne Memorial snapped that 25-game losing skid. And when I talked to Mike Ryan about it earlier this week, he was telling me, he's like, look, the last 25 years, this program's really been defunct. You know, we're in the midst of changing mindsets and habits, and it was huge for everyone. And then I asked, well, did you talk about the streak? Because those kids, and some of these kids were not even parts of the long losing streak. And he said, no, it's not something that we harped on. We just knew it was there. We got the monkey off our back, and then we moved on to game 2. There we go. Peters from the shotgun, sets, throws it across the middle. That one's complete. And get up to the 37-yard line. Nice pass and catch as he finds Danair Harris right again. That's a gain of about 7. We'll bring up just shy of 2nd down and 3. They'll call it 2nd down and 4 based on the spot. But the one thing I like that Mike Ryan told me too, he said, look, our focus is on getting better every day, and one of our mottos is good day, bad day, next day. Then he also said good play, bad play, next play mentality. So even though they fumbled there on that offensive series, that first one, now they got to go back and just focus on the task at hand. But now we got a flag, first one on the field tonight. We're going to get a false start here on the Zebras.
Still 2nd down.
So that will still be 2nd down. Mike Ryan, 35 years overall as a head coach, 3rd year here at Wayne. Also coached at Schwartz Creek, Howell, Brighton, Linden. Another man in motion. Here's Peters. Hands it off. That goes to Gaudette in the backfield. Sheds one tackle, but then runs into a brick wall of Rockets. Nowhere to go. Gets up to about the 36-yard line. That's a gain of about 6 after the penalty. So that now will bring up a huge 3rd down. It'll be interesting to see if they go to the air. You know, I talked about Peters being their QB. He's 34-68 on the season. He's thrown for 430 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But again, last week, just 8 of 15 for 78 yards. Already a couple big plays through the passing game today. Peters takes a snap, blitz comes, throws left side, and he's met immediately. Nowhere to go. Rocket defense sniffed that one out. Pass was completed to Holly. Well, that's going to bring up now 4th down. It's going to force Wayne now to punt it away. So set to return here for the Rockets is Dougie Wicker. That is their quarterback. Also plays a little bit of free safety. Rzetke set back to punt now for the Zebras. Wearing the 75 tonight in the new military appreciation jerseys. Wicker takes it at the 30, goes left side, gets a block picked up at the 40, now 45, cuts back, cross near midfield and fights his way up to the 49-yard line. Great return by Dougie Wicker. And the Rockets now will take over 1st and 10. I mentioned the jerseys. You see them right there. The red, white, and blue with the camo with the numbers sitting on top for John Glenn. Wayne's got the darker jersey with the flag, the stars on the left. Make that the, well, if you're looking at a player, it would be the left shoulder pad, and the stripes on the right. Military Appreciation Game was started a handful of years ago. Bud Somerville, longtime Westland resident, had his hand in it. The Rockets actually at that time, they had the names of some military members on the back of their jerseys, passed them out after the game to those that were in attendance. Wicker takes the handoff, now gets it into the gut of his tailback. That was Damon Powers, but we have a flag. So an offsides call on Wayne. So 2 penalties for the Zebras already. And the Rockets will pick up an easy 5 yards, make it now 1st down and 5. 8-0. John Glenn on top, 6:04 to play here, 1st quarter. Rockets coming out in this full T offense. They got those 3 tailbacks in the back. It is very hard for the defense to know who is going to get the ball. This time nobody is. Wicker drops back, sets his feet, nowhere to go, pulls it down, nothing but green in front of him. He's down to the 30, into the 25, pushed out of bounds. That's a 1st down for John Glenn. That was Daniel Harris who pushed him out. So the Rockets moving it down the field into Zebra territory. 1st and 10 now from the 24. Rockets' last game was against the Livonia Churchill Chargers. They actually fell down 7-0 right before halftime. Self-destructed before they went into the break, but bounced back nicely in the second half, getting 2 touchdowns. John Robertson filling in for Elliott Flake, looked really good. 10 rushes, 78 yards in that game, included a 19-yard touchdown. Wicker hands it off. That's Powers. Going to his right side. Nothing but green in front of him, and he's going to take it in. John Glenn strikes again. 3rd play of the series. And it's a 23-yard touchdown run, and the Rockets now extend their lead 14-0. They have a very strong running game, and again, I talked about that full T. It's a lot to handle if you're a defense. Powers last week, 13 carries, 62 yards, and a 1-yard touchdown run, but right there, that's a 23-yarder. So again, going for 2 in this T offense. Wicker hands it off right side, and then Wayne stuffs that one.
Extra point.
And on the tackle was Danier Harris right, but it was Elliott Flake who tried to find his way in. Couldn't get it. Well, the Rockets go 51 yards on 3 plays, cap it off with a 23-yard touchdown run by Damon Powers. And again, they lead now 14-0. First score was that fumble recovery. That was Ricky Smith who took it home. Let's see if the Zebras now can respond. Back deep to return, you got Dwayne Jones for Wayne Memorial. Also back there with them is Keyshawn Evans Sullivan. Set to kick off now for the Rockets. Isaiah Thurman. That's a high bouncer, and it's going to be picking up at the 32-yard line. Good coverage by the Rockets. Not allowing a deep return. It's taken to about the 32. And now Wayne Memorial will take back over. So their starting field position so far tonight for Wayne has been the 30, the 30, and now the 32. You know, I mentioned this game brings out a lot of special people, and I see Walking around the press box right now is Mayor Mike Londeau, who I'm going to bring in here to talk a little bit about the city championship game. Of course, you know him as the mayor of the city of Westland. I know him as a good friend, confidant, guy I've had a lot of opportunity to cover the Detroit Red Wing alumni games with. Mayor, how you doing?
Ryan, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for giving back and being here for the city championship game. I'm watching you, man. You are in rare form tonight.
Well, you know, I'm honored to be here as the handoff goes up the middle. That one's snuffed out, nowhere to go, loss of about 2. You know, I was talking to Craig Walkenbach, and, you know, the last time I think we covered a game for either Wayne or Glenn was 2015, 2016 here on the City Channel. So when they called me and said that, hey, we want to broadcast the championship game, I'm like, I'm in. I want to go.
Absolutely. It's something, you know, as mayor, I've been wanting to get back to this. I grew up watching this game. I played in this game years ago. I'm a Wayne Memorial grad, so it's kind of tough for me to be wearing this John Glenn jersey. But, yeah, we want to get back to that.
Well, trying to get back right now is Peters, and he floats it down the near sideline. It's hauled in by Dwayne Jones. That is a huge gain for the Zebras and puts them right back in this thing.
Oh, yeah. So I can root for both teams up here.
I was going to ask you about that because I knew you went to Wayne, and I saw the jersey.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the jersey for a minute. I mean, these are sharp. I was just mentioning on the broadcast. So you got the stars on the left, the stripes on the right, and then the camo in the middle. I mean, who came up with this?
So this is Military Appreciation Night. They've been doing this for a number of years. I want to say pre-COVID, 2018, they did it. And what's really cool, Ryan, is they had veterans' names on the back of the jerseys, and they were able to give the jerseys to these veterans at the end of the game. So we honor our veterans here in the city of Wayne and Westland, and it's just another way to give it back to them. So these are really sharp jerseys.
And then, I mean, I was talking about the turnout. You know, this used to be the last game of the season. They moved it to the middle of the season now, and there's still a good turnout. And
great turnout.
You know, the Rockets 4-0 on the season. Great start to their year. Wayne 1-3. I mentioned the 25-game losing streak. They were finally able to get that off their back to start the year. But, I mean, you got to be happy with the crowd here tonight.
Very happy, Ryan. I was just over at the snack bar, and there's a line around the building. It's kind of a late arriving crowd today. We had great weather. It's in September. You never know what kind of weather you're going to have. So great weather, and people are kind of getting here late. So we'll have a packed house. We got a great game tonight.
3:55 to go here, first quarter. It's the Rockets on top by 14. Though Wayne is driving, Peters drops back, throws right. That was intended for Dwayne Jones and falls incomplete.
Yeah, it just brings up nostalgia being here, being up in the press box, seeing the winged helmets, you know. And then John Glenn, they've put a lot of effort in their program as well. You mentioned they're 4-0. In both schools, Ryan, they had a bond improvement over the years, and the fields are fantastic. They have the beautiful field turf now. I was out there. It's really squishy, and it's absolutely beautiful. I
was actually going to ask you about that because I've seen pictures. I've not seen Irma Kanaka Chuck Gordon Field in quite a few years, but I've seen the pictures of the color around the field as Peters now trying to evade a tackle. He does. Goes left side. Got the first down. Trying to get some more. Fights his way into the 15. And that's going to be pushed out of bounds. But that's a big first down for the Zebras to keep it alive. Yeah. But you mentioned the field. I mean, when was this put in?
So I think the bond was on the ballot back in 2018. John Dignan will be here, our superintendent. He's a rock star, by the way. We have a great partnership with the superintendent of the Wayne Westland Community Schools, so he could touch a little bit more about the specifics. But I want to say it was on the ballot in 2018, and the voters overwhelmingly supported it, knowing that it was going back to our students here in the Wayne Westland Community School District.
And it just looks sharp. I mean,
it looks beautiful.
I love the color on the sidelines as opposed to just straight green. It adds an element of visual appeal.
It does.
You got the WM and the 25 for Wayne on both sides.
Yes, sir.
But here we go. 3:09 to play here, first quarter. Wayne Memorial trying to get back into this game. Oh, what a hit in the backfield. Handoff went to Gadet. He had nowhere to go, and that was Damon Powers who leveled him.
They're playing hard. It's the City Championship, and it's all on the line. The records go out the window during this game. They play super hard out there. And the ref out there, I know him personally. His name's Ray, the head crew chief out there. He talked to him beforehand and said, hey, guys, this is I know it's a rivalry game, but you guys might play against each other here or play on the same team in a few years together. So let's have a clean game and make sure everybody gets out of here healthy. So I respect that.
And that's the one thing I liked when I talked to Jason Mensing earlier this week. He said, he came from a one-school town, and when he got here, you got 2 schools in the Wayne Westland area, and these kids have played against each other or with each other. Here's a pass into the backfield, and that goes to Gadet. Really nowhere to go. He's dragged down by Amari Bingham Cage.
Yeah, so we have a good feeder program here in Westland. We have the Westland Meteors, which I played 4 years ago, and then the Westland Comets. And historically, the Meteors would go to Wayne and the Comets would go to John Glenn. But with school choice now and, recruiting is even going on here in the high school level. So these new coaches come in with their culture and their program, and they're poaching people from other communities, and guys are poaching our people to Belleville and to Churchill and stuff. So
I like that you said that culture, because that is the one thing both coaches really emphasized to me. They're trying to bring the culture back here in Wayne Westland. Nice pass. Oh, but it's broken up in the end. Couldn't haul it in, but a flag comes in at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both have great cultures. I had a chance to meet with both coaches prior to the game and had a little bit of our little smack talk. Said, hey, I know I'm wearing John Glenn, but I went to Wayne Memorial. I got to give them a little smack talk. But no, they both have great cultures, and I think they're both doing a great job. Talked to Dr. Dignan earlier, and he says they're both really on the upswing. Wayne's freshmen and JV teams are really looking good, so you're going to have some big stars out here soon on varsity.
Well, the call is pass interference on the Rockets. Ryan Wooley joined alongside by my mayor, Mike Londeau. 1:32 to go here, first quarter. It's the Rockets up 14-0. A fumble return and a 23-yard run by Damon Powers, the difference in this game so far. But the Zebras right now threatening, and it started with that long pass to Dwayne Jones on the near sideline.
I just can't get over the size of some of these kids. Number 75, I think, for Wayne Memorial, it looks like a college kid. Yeah. I mean, this guy is enormous.
Well, and that's the thing.
He was one of the captains.
I was talking to both coaches, and, Glenn's got a couple guys being looked at the D2 level, possible D1 level.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
great for the city. Great for the city, but great for those kids and their parents, obviously, to have that type of opportunity.
And, you talked, Mayor, about having the feeder program, Comets and Meteors, and that was the one thing that kind of got lost over the last couple of years, really, for both schools. And for the longest time, Wayne didn't actually have a JV team, but they were finally able to bring it back after 7 years.
Yeah, it's been tough. Again, I went to Wayne. I know the history. This game is always a tough game. They fight it out, but historically we've always lost to John Glenn. I mean, I think in my time, I don't think we ever beat John Glenn. So it's one of those things, but Wayne's a blue-collar town, and they're fighters, and they're gonna turn it around for sure.
What years did you play?
I only played for 1 year here, but I did play for the Westland Meteors growing up. It would have been, 95, I think it was, when I was playing. 94, maybe. I'm old.
Well, you're not much older than me, but that makes me old too then, right? So
yeah.
No, it's great to be back. I actually had a lot of people come up to us and say, hey, I'm glad you're here to cover the game. Not just me, but I mean just the City Channel being here.
Yeah, we want to do more of this. Like I said, we got a fantastic partnership with the school district, and we're going to find a way to make it work.
Handoff goes to the left side, really nowhere to go. That was Matthew Cadet again who takes the hit carry. John Glenn sniffs that out. So that now will bring up 4th down and about 2. And if you're Wayne, I'm thinking you're going to go for this right here.
You got to. There's a minute and 13 seconds and counting. You got to go for it here.
And really, I mean, there's two things you can do. I mean, you already burned your second timeout, but try to draw them offside with a hard count, number 1, and then run the play, or try to draw them offside, burn your final timeout, and if you want the field goal, line up for it.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Ryan, John Glenn gets the ball after the second half, so Wayne's got to do something here.
Again, down 14-0. It was a fumble recovery on Wayne's opening possession, and then Damon Powers on the Rockets' opening possession. Here we go. Takes the handoff. That's Cadet, and he's trying to fight for it. I don't think he got it either.
I don't think he got it.
I think he might have even lost a yard as the Rocket defense penetrates their way in. And again, that is what Mike Ryan told me. They are big up front, meaning the Rockets. They have got to get a good push. That time they did not. So a turnover on downs. John Glenn now will take over. 36 seconds to go. So with you being here now, this is not homecoming either. Like that's the beauty of this game, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a homecoming game, but it's not. So, like, what are your expectations, either not only for both teams, but I mean now just the school district moving forward here the rest of the season?
Well, we're excited for both programs. Again, I'm the mayor in Westland, so I'm of course say I want my Westland team to do well, but my heart's with Wayne, so I want to see both schools do well. But it's just great. It's great seeing all the students out here, seeing the parents. I get chills hearing the songs, hearing the fight song, hearing the band. As soon as I hear those drums, I just go nuts.
There's nothing like a Friday night.
No, Friday Night Lights. It's a beautiful night, too. Beautiful weather. We got a nice breeze.
Nice move there by Damon Powers.
Oh,
sheds a tackle, goes right side. He's got a blocker in front of him. He possibly could go all the way.
75 might get him.
That's Korzetki trying to get to him, and he can't. The Rockets find the end zone again. Third touchdown of the game, and that makes it 20-0.
Wow. That 78 was going after him, though. I told you that guy looks like a college kid.
John Glenn just using the power running game to their advantage. Damon Powers.
Looks like they'll line up for 2 again. And then, like I said, Ryan, they get the ball in the second half, so they could go up, what is it, 20-0 now? It could be 22-0 here and get the ball here in about 30 seconds.
And it's still only the first quarter.
Oh, I thought we were going to halftime here. I apologize. This is why you're the professional and I'm just the mayor.
Well, you were busy earlier. I was
a little
watching you
busy.
guys out there.
Yeah.
No, it's great to see everybody out here for this game. Play action pass.
Oh.
Back into the end zone.
Oh,
One-handed.
one-handed.
Oh, he dropped it. That was a nice opportunity for the Rockets, but couldn't haul it in was Isaiah Thurman. But nonetheless, John Glenn now up 20-0. And this is a busy time for you, though, as the mayor. A lot of things on your plate right now.
Oh, a lot of things. You know, we got the holidays coming up. We have, we talk about Veteran Appreciation Night. If I can talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
We have, with the city of Westland and the city of Wayne, we have a number of veterans that I kind of mentioned earlier, but we do a veteran meal giveaway to every veteran or surviving spouse in the city of Westland and Wayne. That goes on in November, but it's almost a year-round thing. We got to fundraise for it. We got to source all the material and the food. So it's ongoing right now. If anybody knows any veterans or surviving spouses, they can reach out to my office, 734-467-3200. You can also go to our website, cityofwestland.com. It's another way for us to honor our veterans.
Yeah, I had the opportunity quite a few years ago. It was pre-COVID, but they did the USO dances over at John Glenn High School. They allowed me to come in. I was an MC. I also DJ'd one of the events, or a couple of the events, rather. And it was just awesome to give back to those that served, as that kick is going to be fielded at the 29. But what was that number one more time?
For my office is 734-467-3200. You can go to cityofwestland.com. You can also call Mayor Racy's office in the city of Wayne or go to their website as well. So, again, we appreciate our veterans. We love our residents. We want to give back in any way we can. And what's really cool, actually, is the John Glenn football team for many years has helped volunteer at the event. Excuse me, not the football team. The John Glenn wrestling team has came out to help stock all the boxes and hand off the boxes and the turkeys to the veterans. It's really heartwarming.
Awesome stuff. Like, it's never above you to give back in any way.
Absolutely.
Right now, the Rockets on top, 20-0. 10 seconds to go here, first quarter. Peters looking to throw, now using his legs, throws near sideline. That one nearly caught and dropped, but he was looking for Dwayne Jones. Jones has already made a couple big catches, including that big one down that near sideline.
Yeah. He's ripping something off there. Yeah, these guys love this field. I was talking to a few of the players down there and asked them how they like it. They absolutely love it. So you have to go check it out, Ryan, when we're done here, when you go do your post-game interview.
That's right. Well, I did see a little bit of it. I was down there talking to Mike Ryan before the game. But I love the GastroTurf, if you will.
Yeah, it's great.
When you go home, you got the little pellets in your shoes.
Yeah.
That part's not fun.
Exactly.
But here we go. Final play, first quarter. Rockets on top, 20-0. Jones moves in motion. He's going to take the handoff, goes left side, trying to break a tackle, nowhere to go. He'll get across, though, the 30-yard line, and that will end the first quarter here at William Elliott Athletic Field. Ryan Wooley being joined by Mayor Mike Londeau. We'll talk a little bit more with him when we get back. It is the Rockets on top by 20 here in Wayne, Michigan.
The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is encouraging all parents and guardians to have a conversation with your school-aged children regarding an issue that has become all too prevalent, namely threats to commit school violence. Hello, I'm Mayor Michael P. Londeau, and I'm privileged to have Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy joining me to talk about the issue that we all must take very seriously and with great awareness. Welcome, Prosecutor Worthy. Can you talk about this threat to our students, teachers, and community?
I sure can. As periodic school shootings have become the unfortunate reality across this country, these incidents are naturally publicized in the news and social media. Experience has taught us that the publicity of these school shooting events often prompts a small subset of students to make similar type threats against their schools, teachers, and or their fellow classmates. In many of these cases, the student who made the threat tells investigators that they were just joking, and they seem genuinely shocked by how serious the consequences are for making the threat. Often they make the threat thinking it's not a big deal as long as they did not actually plan to carry it out. Michigan law, however, Mr. Mayor, makes it a crime to make the threat, even if they didn't have the intent or capability to actually carry it out.
It's a great point, Prosecutor Worley. Some people actually think making a joke or a so-called innocent comment about harming a schoolmate or a member of the community is not serious. What would you tell them?
When a threat is made, we cannot immediately know whether the threat is a serious threat or whether the threat is meant to be a so-called prank. Therefore, we in the law enforcement community must take seriously every threat, because not doing so would put your child at risk and the community at risk, and we simply cannot take that chance. My office takes these cases very seriously, not only because of the need to keep your child and the community safe, but also because of the disruption of the school environment and the significant expenditure in resources by the school and law enforcement. Even a prank threat causes. Please talk with your children. Help them understand that their words can have lifelong consequences. Students can be charged with crime, such as false threat of terrorism or threat of terrorism. A new law enacted last year that my office helped to pass also makes it a crime to threaten to commit violence against students or employees on school property. These crimes can result in sentences for up to 10 to 20 years in prison. And Mr. Mayor, that's 10 to 20 years in prison for an adult. It is worth noting that many seniors in high school are already 18, which legally makes them an adult in the state of Michigan. In addition, the potential to legal consequences such as charges may, number one, affect a student's ability to get federal financial aid for college. Number two, cause them to lose college scholarships, and I've seen that happen. 3, cause them to be denied college admission. And 4, result in them having to disclose pending cases or criminal convictions on job applications, and that can have lifelong consequences.
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of consequences for these types of behavior. So what would you suggest parents tell their children about the importance of communicating what they might hear?
We know that in past school shootings, the individuals involved usually shared their plans with one or more of their friends and peers before they acted on those plans. Therefore, it's crucial that you encourage your children to report any threats that they hear about, including threats posted on social media, texts, emails, and anything else, so that these tragic situations can be prevented before they have a chance to start. Stress to your children that reporting could be life-saving, and it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Well, thank you, Prosecutor Witter, for coming in to educate our students, parents, and residents on the reality of school violence and how we have to be diligent about what is happening in our schools and the community at large. It has been a real pleasure to have you take your valuable time for our community. Locally, I have worked with our schools, our police department, and our Department of Public Service to not only make sure students and school workers have the tools and resources to address school violence, but to also make sure we do everything we can for our students so they can travel safely to and from school. Thanks for joining us today, and be safe, Westland.
Back here in Wayne, Michigan, Ryan Wooley here with you for the city championship game. And it's the Rockets on top of the Zebras by 20-0. Second quarter just about to get underway. Mike Londeau, our mayor of Westland, joining me here in the press box. And, Mayor, you were telling me about your opportunity to play with Wayne. Any memories you have of players that maybe played with you or played through the Wayne teams over the years that have went on?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm old, so I can't remember everybody, but one name that'll stand out that you might even know is Lorenzo Guest. He was the quarterback for for Wayne Memorial for many years. His brother Lavelle Guest played as well, and he coaches right now at Michigan State. I think he's the defensive backs coach or the cornerbacks coach over at Michigan State, Lorenzo Guest. So you'll see him on the sideline when the Spartans are playing.
Pass falls incomplete. That was intended for Denier Harris right across the middle. One of the couple players that I really remember that played here were the Freeman brothers. There was some good back and forth battles between the Freemans, and then you had Keyshawn Martin for John Glenn, of course Jeremy Langford for the Rockets. There's been a lot of big names to come through these programs.
Jeremy Langford actually just gave back last summer. He did a football camp at Tatton Park in Westland, so that was really cool to have him back in the city of Westland.
And of course Langford went on to play at Michigan State. He was drafted by the Chicago Bears. There's the punt by the Zebras. Nice high end over and kick. Oh, almost hit a cheerleader.
Hit the cheerleader.
I don't think she was ready for that.
No, she wasn't.
That's you got to be on your guard at all times. There you see her.
Yes, you do. It's starting to fill up, though. It's good. It's good to see all the parents out here and a lot of the kids. I've seen a lot of familiar faces. When you're from the city, you grew up in, and you're the mayor of your hometown, and you're at your former alma mater, you're going to see a lot of people you know.
So, like, throughout a game, though, I mean, do you have a chance? I mean, right now you're able to watch it while you're talking with me a little bit, but do you get a chance really to sit down and enjoy it, or are you really tied up mingling and talking with everybody out there?
Pretty tied up. So this is great to have this bird's eye view and be able to sit up here with you. Again, you're such a pro. I'm watching you, just watching you move from side to side. You got copious notes here. So the folks at home know that you're in great hands here on WLND with Ryan Wooley.
Well, I appreciate it. I've, again, enjoyed working with you over the years. The Red Wing alumni game out there at the Mike Modano Ice Arena. Hoping maybe that'll come back.
We'll be bringing that back for sure. We had a change in leadership recently, and the former mayor was played in that game, and it was a little too soon for me to do it this year, but we're hoping to do it next year.
Well, there you hear it. All right. Maybe some little breaking news here on WLND.
There you go.
I hope to be back with
you absolutely
for that game. Well, here's Wicker. Handoff goes up the middle, breaks a tackle, sheds another, and then spins his way down.
They both faked me out.
Wow, that was John Roberson. Roberson, again, 10 rushes, 78 yards last week, and I mentioned he played in Elliott Flake's absence. And, you know, Mayor, you were talking, there's some other people walking around. That includes our superintendent, so I know you got stuff to do if you want to skate on out of here, and I'm going to slide our superintendent, John Dignan.
I'm going to get some lights on up here because we're under the lights, but you're standing here in the dark, so we're going to get some lights on, or hopefully. There we go. Now you can see.
Oh, see? You're making things happen.
Ryan,
I appreciate
you so much. Absolutely appreciate you. Say hello to your wife and everybody for me.
Absolutely.
And I'll turn it over to the rock star that I mentioned, Dr. John Dignan.
All right. Well, John's going to slide in here again. That's Mayor Mike Londeau here during the city championship game. Rockets on top. Handoff, nowhere to go. And again, dragging to the backfield. That is a great defensive stand by Wayne Memorial. That will bring up third down. But now joining me is the superintendent of the Wayne Westland Schools. That is John Dignan. And, John, thank you for taking the time to join us here on WLND.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
I was watching you out there prior to the coin toss, just kind of like the mayor. You were talking and weaving and shaking hands with everybody. So kind of talk what you go through on a day-to-day basis, like for a game like today. What were you doing?
Just kind of greeting the community and seeing everybody. It's just great. It's beautiful weather. It's just great football weather, and seeing people come out supporting both teams.
Well, here's Wicker. He rolls to the left. Now, he is a right-handed quarterback, throws left side. Dangerous pass. That one falls incomplete, so that will bring up fourth down. It's going to force the Rockets to punt it away. So good defensive stand by the Zebras. So with that being said, John, I mean, obviously we don't root for one team or the other here on the City Channel, or you know, Mayor Mike Londeau talked about it. I mean, he played at Wayne. He's got a Jonglin jersey on, kind of cheering for both teams. So what does it mean to you to see the community out and involved in a game like this?
Oh, it's great for the kids. Well, Jonglin's off to its best start since 2002. Wayne is in the middle of a rebuild. They're a young team made up of a lot of sophomores and juniors, so they're getting there.
Right now, the Rockets still have their offense out there. It's going to be a fourth down and about 3. Wicker hands it off. That's Powers. He goes right side, trying to fight his way through, pushed out of bounds, but not before he moves the chains. He got to about the 39-yard line. He had to get to the 41 about, and they're going to get a first down. So that is a big first down. And, you know, so what time did you get here today? Because, again, I saw you on the field pregame, and that was roughly about, 6:30-ish. So what were you doing prior to that? Were you stopped by everybody as you were walking in, kind of like Mayor?
Yeah, kind of. We had a big event at Hamilton Elementary tonight, so stopped there and got here around 6 o'clock. So it was good seeing everybody and getting a chance to talk to our band director, which we got a phenomenal band at both schools as well.
I was actually in the band at Westland John Glenn when I was a student. I graduated 2003. Scott Kramer was the band director at the time there. Handoff goes up the middle, breaks a tackle, almost broke another one, gets down to about the 21-yard line. Great run by the Rockets. That was Elliott Flake, who again was sat out last week, but making an impact in this game. They run that full T offense, 3 backs in the backfield. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, John, you came in about 3 years ago, correct?
Yeah, this is actually my 4th year.
4th year, okay.
Yeah, yes.
And so any big projects, any big things that you can pass along or that you've been working on that you maybe pass along to everybody listening?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we're doing is we're going to create a wall of honor here at Wayne Memorial to honor all of our alumni that were veterans both at Wayne Memorial and Westland John Glenn.
There's Powers. I don't mean to interrupt you
Big
here.
run.
He bounces left side, forces his way down inside the 10-yard line. So a wall of honor. So for all veterans that went to Wayne?
That's correct, and as well as Westland. Actually, Wayne Memorial was memorialized after World War II and the Korean War because they had so many alumni that went to fight in the war. So we want to honor and celebrate our rich history.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When will that start, or are there nominations being held?
Yeah, we're in the process now. We want to get all of our student groups involved and everything, and we're hoping in the next year to kind of launch the Wall of Honor.
That's awesome. Now, will it be a traveling wall? Will it be inside the schools?
It'll be inside Wayne Memorial as you walk in.
Handoff goes up the middle, fighting his way in, and it's
Touchdown.
touchdown for the Rockets. Amari Bingham Cage takes the handoff.
And we're having the John Glenn Hall of Fame, too, which will be launched during basketball season.
I saw that. I don't know if you guys just made that announcement yesterday or maybe 2 days ago.
Yeah.
At least they made it to social media, and that really perked up my interest only because I have seen and I've heard people talk about it for years. You know, of course, you hear about Coach Gordon, right? You hear,
Yeah,
he should
absolutely.
be, not that he hasn't already been immortalized in this area
Yeah.
for Westland, but certainly into a Hall of Fame type atmosphere. But then, I mean, there's so many people like Keith D. Malloy who passed, you know, many years ago, but what he did for the Comets and the Meteors program and being around, and there's just a handful of guys, and I know you guys are taking nominees for that as well.
That is correct. Yeah, if people have nominations on the John Glenn website, they can go to the athletic website and kind of fill out the forms there. So hopefully a lot of people are going to get involved. There are a lot of great people, like you said, that have done some powerful things in our communities through the years.
All right, so a big question is after a game like this, of course, you're going to have a winner and you're going to have a loser. But the season continues on, and after that, there's going to be homecomings.
Yes.
So how much of a stress level is the homecoming game for you as a superintendent, or really for anybody that has to help make sure that goes off without a hitch for both schools?
Yeah, it's it's an exciting week for the kids, and our kids and staff really kind of rally around it. So they always make it special. You always hope to win your homecoming games, so that's always probably the biggest fear.
Well, squib kick. It's going to be fielded at the 45, near an onside attempt, but it's recovered there by the Zebras. That was Jordan Garner who comes up with it. So here we go. Wayne's going to get the ball back, and they got to find a way to get back into this game. They look to be well on their way of getting back in before turning it over on downs, and the Rockets march right back down the field with that Damon Powers touchdown to make it 20-0, and then now Amari Bingham Cage makes it a 28-0 advantage here for the Rockets. Couple more minutes here with our superintendent and John Dignan. And John, is there anything else that you want to pass along to the community that maybe is on the horizon that you're working on, or things that you maybe need help with?
Yeah, there's we're working on a regional fire academy with the city of Westland. So Mayor Londeau and his administration's been incredible, really, their support. We've tripled our enrollment within our fire academy, so we want to kind of take advantage of that.
There's Peters, and now he just tries to throw it away. It looked like maybe a miscommunication. He was trying to put it in the gut of Matthew Gaudette and pulled it right back out as the Rockets were right there, and then rolled to the right and throws it into the turf. So that'll bring it up 2nd and 10. Well, I'll tell you how old I am. So I remember when I used to drive down Ford Road right there where the old City Hall used to be. They used to have the firehouse that they could fill with smoke and go through training exercises. I don't know when they tore that down, but that shows how old I was. When I was a kid, I remember seeing it and wondering what it was.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to galvanize and get that back in. There are a couple of phases to this project, and we're excited about the future.
Peters drops back, throws left. That pass is completed right to the M of the Wayne Memorial logo. Again, that one goes to Dwayne Jones, who has been a force in this game. So that now will bring up about 3rd down and 6. 7:49 to play. It's 28-0 Rockets. Again, this is the 53rd all-time meeting between these two schools. John Glenn 42-10 during this series. They've won 16 straight city championships. Last loss was back in 2006 when they lost 3 in a row. It was an 8-7 game. Zebras trying to move the ball here. Again, shotgun, nowhere to pass. Now Peters met in the backfield, and he is just wrapped up. That defensive line has got Peters nowhere to go. That is Hunter Kruppen who comes in for the sack. Well, John, I appreciate you joining us. Is there any way that people can get a hold of you or a social media account they can follow stay up to date with stuff that's going on in both Wayne and Westland?
Yeah, absolutely. If they go to the Wayne Westland Community School District website, we have all of our social media on there, and it's really easy to sign up and everything. If anybody has any questions about anything with the schools, they can call me at 734-419-2010.
Perfect. Thank you so much. As that one is going to be dropped near the 30, it's going to take a zebra roll, and the Rockets will take back over now, 1st and 10 on the 18. Well, John, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us here on the WLND.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Once again, that is John Dignan, the superintendent of Wayne Westland Schools, joining us here for the city championship game. I mean it. There is a good amount of people here in attendance, both dignitaries, fans, alumni, supporters, and we appreciate everybody tuning in here as we bring you this coverage of this game. And again, it's 28-0 in favor of John Glenn. 6:35 to go here in the first half. Rockets getting touchdowns, a punt return by Ricky Smith. He took it in on the first offensive series by the Zebras. Then John Glenn's first offensive series, Damon Powers, 23-yard run. Powers again with a near 80-yard touchdown run on one play. And then the last touchdown was Amari Bingham Cage, who scored on the ground for John Glenn. But here we go. Rockets with the football. They're going to start again from their own 18-yard line. Handoff goes left side, and they've just been able to break tackle after tackle. And finally being thrown down is Bingham Cage. Again, he had scored on that last touchdown. That one was a huge run. Nearly broke it, but thrown down just out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. Let's see where they spot this ball. It should be a first down. They've not yet moved the chains. Now they're going to mark it off. There's a penalty, so it's going to be a personal foul on the Zebras. So tack on another 15 yards to that one. You know, the one thing you heard both Mayor Mike Londeau and Superintendent John Dignan talk about was just how much we appreciate our veterans and our military members. And when I was talking to Jason Mensing earlier this week, he was telling me about the Black Lion Award, which is the only award they give out. And it's given out to give courageous, selflessness, team play, work ethic, all of those rolled up into one over individual awards. He was telling me that, you know, you could score the most touchdowns in a game, and of course you might be named MVP, but the Black Lion Award is what it's all about. Is the handoff again goes right side. We had a change in quarterback for the Rockets as well, as number 45 has come into the game. That is Bo Mensing. And why not when you're up 28-0? Don't want to risk injury right now. There is a flag on the field. One official is picking it up, but so they're just going to wave it off. I believe they're going to keep the clock running here with just over 6 minutes to play. But I mentioned the Black Lion Award. He said that his captains jumped on this idea and said each week a nominee is put on social media. It's voted on. Hugh Wyatt sponsors it from Washington. He has a committee, sends out the award to each kid. Don Hollander is the reason that the Black Lion Award exists. He sacrificed his life in the war, and the U.S. Army started to give it out to their teams. And again, Black Lion, L-I-O-N, is the term of the award. And so far, the four winners on the varsity level this year. Last week was Cade Ingram. Week 3 was the quarterback in Dougie Wicker. No, week 2 was Elliot Flake. And then week 1 was Rudy Hanbier Perez, the guard, big number 58. And again, if you want to see what that award is all about, you can go to John Glenn's athletic Twitter page, or I guess you could call it X now because it's no longer Twitter. But here we go. 5 minutes to play here. First half, it is Rockets on top, 28-0. Bo Mensing again under center. He hands it off. Again, That's Cage. No, it's a fake. Goes left side. That's Mensing himself. He faked me out. He gets across the 40, maybe down to about the 38. And again, it's another first down for John Glenn, who has just dominated in this game. And you knew coming in how good they were. Again, 4-0, trying to get their 5th win for the first time since they went to the playoffs back in 2014. They finished that season 6-4. Wayne Memorial, meanwhile, has lost their last 3 games. They've given up 48, 44, and 47 in their last 3, scoring 6, 8, and 0 after their big 34-7 victory in Week 1. That victory was against Lansing Eastern. Here's Mensing. Handoff again, goes up the middle. Now they go right side, and Wayne snuffing that one out. That was Mensing, just pulls it down. De'Aris Holly goes in and makes the stop for the Zebras. That'll bring up a 2nd down and about 14 now. 4:27 to play here in the first. I talked about Jason Mensing coming in. It's his 2nd year at John Glenn High School. It's 24th overall, 21st as a head coach. He has had stops at Addison, Grayling, Owasso, Tecumseh. He was an assistant at Siena Heights, but most recently Whiteford, where he was spending 10 years. And I'll talk about his success out there and why he could be a huge hire for this Rocket program as Mensing fakes the handoff, now rolls out left. Pressure coming as a man open, nearly picked off. Are they going to say he caught it or not? Still waiting for the official call. And now they're going to say yes. That was Tyler Radley on the far sideline. And now they're going to walk it back and say, no, he did not have possession. Took a long time to make a decision on that one, but a flag as well. The flag's back at the 45, and that should be holding against John Glenn. So they're going to mark it off from the 45 of Wayne. So that's going to put it now at the 45 of John Glenn. But I talked about Mensing and what he did at Whiteford. So in 10 years, he won a Division VIII state title in 2017, 4 Tri-County Conference titles, 5 district championships, 4 regional titles, made the playoffs every year. And I think the most important and telling stat of why John Glenn was after him, he won 21 playoff games in those 10 years. In the 10 years, if you compare Glenn's records, they won just 30 games total in the regular season. So 21 playoff games or 30 games overall, and the handoff goes up the middle, and he's gone! Touchdown, Rockets! Ethan Moore takes it right up the gut, rumbles 55 yards to the end zone, and John Glenn now extends their lead 34-0. This is just a deadly running attack, and this is the old John Glenn football. If you followed the Rockets for many years under head coach Chuck Gordon, how they just like to pound the rock. It was all about moving the ball on the ground, throwing it only when they had to. And so far, we have seen Damon Powers, now Ethan Moore, and Amari Bingham Cage each score touchdowns on the ground. Last week, Moore had 12 rushes for 50 yards. And he breaks that on one rush here tonight. 55 to the house. There's Bingham Cage again. Fights his way towards the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. So the Rockets now lead 36-0, and then it's also going to bring us a running clock. Again, 35 points. The differential will keep the clock running after the kickoff. And the Rockets just pounding right now on the Zebras. Following tonight's game, Wayne Memorial will be on the road. They will be taking on Dearborn. After this game, John Glenn will also be on the road, and they're going to have a very big test to muster up against. They got Belleville on the schedule. Well, let's see if Wayne can get something going here. I mentioned how You know, Mike Ryan talked about it's not about what you did last week. It's not about what you did next week. It's not about what happened on that last play. It's good day, next day, good play, bad play, next play. So, yeah, you may be down 36-0 in the city championship, but what can you do to build upon your team? How can you get better as a football team? And it starts one play at a time. It's going to start right here on the kickoff. That's an onside kick, goes 10 yards, nearly fielded by the Rockets, but it's going to be picked up by Wayne at the 48-yard line. So that's, you can look at that one of two ways, right? So if you get it, great, you have it offensively. If you don't get it, like in that situation, you do give Wayne a very short field to work with. However, you're saying that you trust your defense to get the Zebras to punt it away. So 3:32 to go here, first half. It has been all John Glenn. I've been talking about Matt Gaudette, the running back for Wayne Memorial here tonight. And again, Mike Ryan just sang his praises in my interview with him this week. Said he's just a young man that has listened since day one. He's a class act. Watching him grow as a human being on the field in the school has been huge. And, you know, Mike Ryan's all about changing the culture here at Wayne. And he says, you know, Gaudette's bought into that, wants to help in that. Mike Ryan said, you know, they can give you the roadmap to success, but it's up to you to follow it. And he said Gaudette does exactly that. And he's lined up in the backfield. Peters sets his feet, throws. It's picked off. Rockets trying to find their way back to the end zone and chased down from behind. Dwayne Jones makes the tackle. It's Tyler Radley who comes away with the pick. There you see him, number 28. So the pressure came, and then the turnover happens. Tyler Radley had a convoy in front of him, but couldn't find his way all the way in. There was a flag down on the field. So they're going to mark this back off. It was against the Rockets. They're going to say it was holding. And you see Mike Ryan. He's counting his defensive players out there. So one official is marking the ball back to about the 40. So that's where John Glenn will take over, leading 36-0. 3:14 to go. I talked about mottos for Wayne, but how about a motto for John Glenn? Mensing says it's all about let's get better at football today. When they leave practice, the question is asked, did we get better at football today? You may have had a bad day. In a game like this, you may turn it over. But the question is, did you get better today? Well, Dougie Wicker back out there at quarterback. He drops back, sets his feet, still looking, airs one out, got a man wide open. Oh, he dropped it! Wide open at the 20-yard line. That was Powers, but there is a flag down as well. Damon Powers has had a pretty big game so far in this one. 2 touchdowns for him. Flag was thrown just about the 25. And they're going to call holding against Wayne. So that could have been a big reason why Powers couldn't get his hands up to haul that one in. You know, Powers not only is great offensively, I mentioned his 13 carries and 62 yards last week where he had a touchdown, but he also led the defense last week. He had 9 tackles, and he was followed by Caden Ingram, who had 2 sacks, and that's a big reason why Ingram was a nominee for the Black Lion Award. Wicker hands it off. Nowhere to go. That was Ethan Moore. Again, Moore with a 55-yard touchdown in this game. 36-0, Rockets on top. 2:45 to play here, first half. Ryan Wooley here with you. I've been joined by Mayor Mike Londeau and Superintendent John Dignan. It's been a fun-filled night here in the city of Wayne. I'm not going to lie either. On my way into the game, it's been a long time since I've been on this side of town. I had to stop at a local establishment and have me one of them good burgers, the Braze Burger, over there on Ford Road. Play action. Here's Wicker. Going to hold it himself. Scoots down left side. Finally pushed out of bounds by the other 12. That was the Arias Holly.
Let's hear it one more time for our Wayne Memorial Marching Band.
Welcome back here to Wayne, Michigan. We are getting ready to start the third quarter here at the city championship game between Westland John Glenn and the Wayne Memorial Zebras. Ryan Wooley here with you. And if you're just joining us, it was a dominant first half by the Rockets. 44-0 they lead. A big reason why was Damon Powers, who is back to receive the kickoff. Powers, 154 yards on the ground on 5 rushes. He has 3 touchdowns, 124 yards alone on those 3 TDs. The longest was a 92-yard scamper to make it 26-0, and then eventually a 2-point conversion made it 28. But here's a short kick fielded by the Rockets. They'll take it up across the 40, still dodging tacklers just past the 42, now to the 45, and then up to the 50, and now we got some extracurricular activity going on at the 45. So that is not a good sign as this game slowly gets out of hand. That was Javion Gibson getting tangled up with Jalen Howes. So a flag will no doubt come out, maybe offsetting penalties on that. But the Rockets move the ball 50-yard line, and they will take over 1st and 10, again leading 44-0. And we will have a running clock now the rest of the way unless it goes back under a 35-point differential. The only time it will stop will be a change of possession, timeout, or injury. But again, Damon Powers, the story of the first half, but also joining him in the rushing attack was Dougie Wicker, 27 yards, 2 carries. Of course, he's the quarterback for the Rockets. Elliott Flake, 22 yards. He had 2 carries. Ethan Moore also scored a 55-yard touchdown on his first carry. He had 50 yards last week. That was against Livonia Churchill, and John Glenn's 4th win of the season to move to 4-0, but it was a 14-7 victory. And so now the penalty here is against the Rockets. It's going to back them up to about the 45. 53rd all-time city championship game between these two. Rockets 42-10 all-time in this series. They've won 16 straight, well on their way to a 17th straight victory. Mensing has got his team rolling this year. Bo Mensing in at quarterback. Handoff again goes up the middle, and there is nobody that's going to touch him. He is into the end zone. Touchdown, Rockets. That is John Roberson. Takes the handoff. Goes 55 yards to pay dirt, and the Rockets now hang 50 on their crosstown rivals in Wayne. Second 55-yard touchdown we have seen in this game. The first I mentioned from Ethan Moore, and now John Roberson. It is so hard to see who is getting the ball in the backfield. And that was what Wayne struggled with on that last play. Now they will attempt the extra point, will the Rockets, as Isaiah Thurman comes in. I was watching him during warm-ups earlier today, and he was kicking from the 35-yard line field goals. They weren't all accurate, but it was enough to be impressed when you're kicking 52, 53-yard field goals at the high school level. And the Rockets now make it 51-0. One play, 55 yards. Roberson takes it to the house. You know, when I talked to both coaches this week, one of the things I really want to touch on was just the rivalry between these two. Because I remember when I was a student at John Glenn, I graduated back in 2003. I remember the Beat the Zeebs shirts and the Beat the Zeebs pens and the chants. And, you know, you say Wayne and you get the boos. And I know there was on the flip side, same thing over here at Wayne Memorial where they want to beat the Rockets and they had their things. But the one thing I like that Mike Ryan said is they don't put a lot of importance on this game. Yes, you do want to win this game. Yes, this game means a lot to them, the community, the alumni. But he doesn't want to put all the pressure on this team, knowing that, look, this is week 5 of the season. After this, they got Dearborn, Belleville, Livonia Stevenson, and a crossover game. So they don't have a tagline. Yes, this game means everything to the kids, but they don't make it bigger than it really is because it's just another game on their schedule. Kickoff fielded from inside the 5, taken now up to the 25. And Wayne now will go back to work. You know, and again, Mike Ryan is emphasizing it's important to the school and the community, and of course you want to win it, but when kids get overwhelmed with the bright lights, you just try to keep them calm and coming in. Look, it's 12-minute quarters, 48-minute game, and in case this game, they were down early. They were down 44-0 at the half. Now they're down 51-0 here with 7:50 to play in the third quarter. Again, we got a running clock. And I think at this point now, if you're Mike Ryan and staff, again, build first downs, get plays going. You know, the one thing that they have not had in this game was really Matt Gaudette. You know, they've tried to go to him. John Glenn's big line has snuffed him out. Peters said to run through his life a couple times. Again, he threw a pick in this one right there. He runs into Gaudette, and it goes into the backfield, and the Rockets come away with the football. Oh, what a turn of events. That is Hunter Crouppen who comes in, gets the recovery, and it's another turnover. Hunter Croupen's been in a couple stops, and that's one for him that he'll remember for a long time. Crouppen is senior defensive tackle, defensive end here for John Glenn. And 6:40 to play now here. Rockets with the football and just trying to add on. So insult to injury on that. I was just talking about trying to get Gaudette involved and miscommunication between Peters and Gaudette. Second straight game that Wayne has found themselves down big. They lost 47-0 last week to Livonia Franklin, and when I asked Coach about that, he said, look, yeah, it was a bad loss, but the kids continued to compete for 4 quarters and went on to emphasize we are very young, only 4 seniors on this team. And off up the middle again, and that was like a freight train by the Rockets. This time it was Justin Hill who takes the handoff, stopped by Blake Middlebrook. So that'll bring up now second down. Gain of about 8 on the play. 2nd and 2 now for John Glenn. Late substitution here for the Rockets. Ricky Smith coming off. Smith had that fumble recovery earlier in the game. First touchdown of the contest. Now 5:30 to play. Bo Mensing getting some instruction over there from the sideline. Mensing has 6 yards on 2 carries so far tonight. Everything's been on the ground for the Rockets, and rightfully so. They really haven't had to go to the air. Mensing hands it off up the middle. Stutter stepping. It's going to be slowed down as Akeen Fyerson takes the handoff. Dwayne Jones right there for the stop. But it's enough to move the chain. So we got a first down for the Rockets. They are inside the 14-yard line, make it the 13 now. So they can still get a first down inside about the 2. Last couple of years, Rockets won last year 47-14, 22-14 in 2021, 63-36 during the COVID year of 2020, and 34-0 back in 2019. But right now up 51-0 here, third quarter. Mensing again. Back under center. This one now goes to the right side, and then Wayne's defense strips the ball away loose, and it's corralled by the Zebras. Coming away with the football was Jordan Garner, so a play that goes right now for Wayne after coughing it up themselves. Their defense comes up with a big play, stops the Rocket offense, and now can go back to work with 3:45 to play in the third quarter. That's one of the rare mistakes we've seen from John Glenn so far in this game. So Wayne will take over, 1st and 10 on their own 20. Dwayne Jones into the backfield for the Zebras. Cadet there, right there with him. Split out wide is Middlebrook. So Jones now is going to take the snap. Direct snap to him, goes right side, and he's got nowhere to go. That's a big stop by John Glenn's defense. I'll give you one guess who got in on there. That was big number 99 again. That was Hunter Crouppen, who came away with the fumble on the last series. So a loss of 2. 2nd and 12 now. 51-0 Rockets. Cadet still out there. Jones now back at quarterback, replacing Devin Peters. Jones hands it off. That goes to Cadet. Pressure coming. Goes left side. Gets tripped up. 3 Rockets right there with him. Good pursuit by John Glenn. Cadet has got speed, but coming in to make the hit was Justin Hill of John Glenn. So that's a gain of 8 on the play. We'll bring up 3rd down and 5. .151 to go. The clock continuing to tick. Again, it is a running clock. Possession, injury, or timeout is how we'll see a stoppage. Or if they can get back under the 35-point differential. But Jones still in at quarterback. He's going to take it himself. Goes left side. Picks up 1 block, but nowhere to go. Just good defensive pressure here by John Glenn. Javon Foster comes in to make the stop. So that'll bring up 4th down. John Glenn going to be forced, or make that Wayne's going to be forced to punt to John Glenn. And they could always go for it, but Korzetki back there to punt. He's one of 2 captains on this team, is Mike Korzetki. Takes the snap, gets his big right foot into it, high end-over-end kick, hits about the 42, takes a Zebra bounce, now to the 40, 35, down to the 38. That's where John Glenn will take over, and Korzetki again wearing the 75 tonight, not the typical number that you would typically see him wear according to previous rosters. He's number 9, but special jerseys here this evening for Military Appreciation Night, so don't adjust your TVs. But Korzetki, one of 2 captains with Cadet. Mike Ryan said he's just done a phenomenal job last spring, really came into his own. And that was a great punt. And that should be the final play of the third quarter as it continues to tick down. 4 seconds left. And here in the city championship game from Wayne, it is the Rockets on top of the Zebras, 51-0. We'll step aside and have fourth quarter action when we return.
With the City of Westland's new emergency alerting system, Code Red, you can stay informed and up to date on important alerts in your area that can impact your property, your family, and you. Signing up is simple and requires just a few steps. Either text Westland Alerts to 24639 or visit cityofwestland.com/Westland Alerts to set up an account to begin receiving voice messages, texts, and/or email notifications so you never miss crucial information. By adding your home address or secondary address, you'll receive alerts specific to your location. Plus, you can choose the language in which messages are received to best suit your needs. Our new emergency alerting system keeps residents in the loop, providing information regarding important events, including missing persons, criminal activities, road closures, water contamination concerns, adverse weather, fires, and other disasters. Don't wait any longer. Register today to feel confident in your ability to stay informed and prepared in the city of Westland.
One final quarter to go here at William Elliott Athletic Field. It's the city championship game between John Glenn and Wayne Memorial. Ryan Wooley here with you, and it is currently 51-0 in favor of the Rockets. Just a dominating first half because of Damon Powers' 3 touchdowns here in the second half. John Roberson, 55-yard touchdown run, built the 44-0 halftime lead into the 51 score that we have now. It is a running clock, and again, it will continue to run unless we get under the 35-point differential or change of possession, injury, or a timeout. Handoff here by the Rockets goes up the middle. They've just been able to run at will on this Zebra defense. That time again goes to Justin Hill. You know, the one thing I just want to keep emphasizing on this game, if you're just tuning in, you know, I had a great conversation with head coach Mike Ryan and Jason Mensing this week, and it was a lot about the turn of the programs, about trying to bring the culture back that both of these programs have had. Of course, John Glenn was historically known for the running game. You're seeing it again now with Mensing's offense. He came here from Whiteford, where he spent 10 years there, won the 2017 D8 state title, 5 district championships, 4 regional championships, and made the playoffs every year. They're trying to turn the Rockets back into that. Mike Ryan, now in his 3rd year here at Wayne, trying to change the culture as Bo Mensing rolls now near side, has a blocker in front of him, lowers his head, gets to the sideline, and depending on where they spot that, it may be a first, but a flag comes in at the end. But the one thing that I made sure I asked Mike Ryan is, like, what do you want the community to know about what you're doing in this Wayne Memorial program? And I think this rings true. So I hope everyone listens. He said you just have to trust the process. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, sometimes results aren't going to be there, but you've got to trust the process. We have one in place, so it will take some time to develop. And, of course, with the history at Wayne, it could take a little bit longer, but there's going to be trust issues with the community. But he said we're heading in the right direction. They're here to help change the kids' lives and help them become successful in life outside of the game of football. And the goal is to have them be successful as a family man or a job and working through hard times. But you got to stick with the process and staying on track. And went on to say, you know, success for their kids is number one. Football's the avenue to be successful, but the goal is for them to have a diploma in their hand, and then they can spread their wings and fly upon graduation. And I talked about only 4 seniors on this roster, the JV team finally coming back after 7 years. So there is a program in place for Zebra football by that man right there, Mike Ryan. And, you know, just talking to him, I mean, he had me believing too. So I believe what he's telling us. Just you got to trust it. Then on the other side, you look at Jason Mensing. Again, the results here in year number 2 for him. Rockets 4-0, trying to move to 5-0. They have not won 4 games in a year since 2018. They were 4-5 that year. They've not won at least 5 games in a year since 2014. That was the last time they made the playoffs outside of the COVID year when everybody made the playoffs. Handoff goes up the middle. And, you know, Mensing just talked about his team and said, look, they're a great group of seniors. They have a large upper class that loved the game, and that has helped to get them off this 4-0 start this year. And he said, like typical coaches do, look, we're happy we're 4-0, but we always think we can be further ahead than we really are, and we want to execute on everything better. And he said they've been trying to focus on their play-action game both for protection and completions. And I think we've been seeing that a little bit tonight. You've been seeing a couple different play-action plays that resulted in the quarterback just scrambling. So more so the protection than the completion in this game. Here's Mensing. Handoff goes up right side, and it's another huge hole, and it's going to be another touchdown. A flag has come out, so it may come back, but in the meantime, the Rocket fans up on their feet across the way as Rainey Matthews rumbles down the far sideline to extend John Glenn's lead, but let's see what the flag is. Mike Ryan already signaling for his team to come back, which should indicate holding, and sure enough it is. We have seen that so many times in this game, though. John Glenn takes the handoff and just goes to pay dirt. So they'll back him up. 7:20 to play here, fourth quarter. 51-0 Rockets on top of the Zebras. Looking for their 17th straight win in this city championship game. While I'm talking about the Rockets, there is one more person that I want to bring up that was instrumental in helping the program really get their culture and identity back, and that's the booster president for John Glenn, Shannon Inman. I was told, now she does work for the city, but got the club restarted as it went away for a long time. She's the one that wanted it to come back and said it had to come back when Mensing came in and got it up and running. And for any of you that have been around athletics or band or cadre, you know how important boosters are for the fundraising aspect, how important they are for concession sales, photography, photos, in the off season, getting stuff for the cheerleaders. I mean, it goes on and on. And Shannon Inman was a big name that Jason Mensing wanted to give a big shout out to because of what she was able to do with the booster program and getting it back on track. So the Rockets now facing 1st and 10. They'll take it to the 45-yard line. 6 minutes to play here, fourth quarter. They lead 51-0. Handoff again, goes right side. That time, nowhere to go was Rainey Matthews after having his touchdown called back. Yeah, you heard Mayor Mike Londeau talk with me about the comments and the meteors, and it's been a big community-driven effort to make sure that those relationships have been brought back with the Comets, the Meteors, the Zebras, and the Rockets. And, the goal is to regenerate a community of football that existed for decades in the Wayne-Westland area, and it kind of went away. But they want to get back to the way it was, and alumni and current players and boosters can be proud of the product that's on the field. See them move their way through the program. Handoff again goes up the middle. That one across the 50, now down to the 45. As Justin Hill takes the carry. And just shy of the first down. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 1 for Hill. $51-0. Most of the scoring in the first half, only touchdown here in the second, was Roberson's 55-yard touchdown run. Star of the game, it's got to be Damon Powers. 3 touchdowns in this one, 124 yards rushing on those touchdowns alone. He had over 150 in the first half. We've had a couple of turnovers, both teams here in the second half. Here's Mensing, rolling left. Found a hole, a nice open field tackle by Wayne Memorial. That was Monda Smith. It's enough to move the chains for John Glenn, but a good open field tackle, not allowing much more. Now under 4 minutes to play. Again, following this game, John Glenn still on the road. They'll be taking on Belleville, the defending state champion. Meantime, Wayne Memorial will hit the road. They will travel to Dearborn. Then they'll come back and have a home date with Belleville. Homecoming just around the corner for both of these teams, too. There's Mensing, hands off. Trying to shed a tackle, but nowhere to go was Akeen Fireson. So gain of 4. Bring up 2nd down and 6. Clock continuing to roll down. Glad you could join us here on WLND. Again, it's been a long time to bring you another city championship game, but so happy we could do it for you, and hopefully more on the horizon. Again, Mike Londeau earlier in the broadcast said that they're working on bringing the annual hockey night in Westland back, possibly next year, so that's exciting. Make sure you stay tuned to the City of Westland administration page and check out all the social links for more details on that. Well, that should be a penalty. It looked like the right half of the offensive line jumped. I don't see any flags on the field, though. Rockets hand it off again. And there was a fumble, and Wayne Memorial came away with it. So maybe it's a good thing they didn't throw the flag, because they would have had to redo the play, and Wayne wouldn't come away with it. I didn't see what number came up with it, though. But nonetheless, under 2 minutes to play now. Zebras with the ball, trailing 51-0. Game well over. Fans starting to head to the exit. Good crowd for the John Glenn faithful, too, across the way. Rockets are going to move to 5-0. Again, first time they've had 5 wins in a season since the 2014 season. Wayne has just continued to struggle really since 2010. They've had 9 winless seasons in 14 years. 17 straight losses now to John Glenn here in this crosstown rivalry showdown. Let's see what they come out with here. Just over a minute to play. 51-0. Rockets on top. That's Dwayne Jones. Nice step back. Sheds another tackle. Goes near side. Breaks the 3rd tackle and finally dragged down from behind. Gets down to about the 38-yard line. If there's been a bright spot in this game, it's really been Jones. Devin Peters has found him on a couple long passes. Jones has come in here at quarterback the last couple of times. Here he goes, left side, nowhere to go. Maybe a pickup of 2. Chased down from behind by the Rockets. That was Jaden Soto. Now 20 seconds. Swain trying to hurry to the line. Let's see if they run another play and just let it run out. 13 seconds to go now. Jones takes the snap, sets his feet, going to air one out. This near sideline nearly picked off. The Rockets have had quite a few turnovers in this game, but couldn't come up with that one, and that's how this one's going to end. John Glenn comes on the road, beats Wayne Memorial for the 17th straight year. They take the 53rd city championship game by the final of 51-0. Again, after this, they will hit the road. They now will take on Belleville in their next game. Wayne, meanwhile, will try to rebound as they battle with Dearborn. Both teams head to midfield. They'll shake hands, say job well done, and then get back to work for their next game. But I just want to thank everybody here in our WLND staff for, again, being able to bring you another city championship showdown. I want to thank Piker. I want to thank Heather, Craig Abear, of course, Craig Welkenbach, and, of course, Kevin Kreis back on our production truck. Once again, my name is Ryan Wooley. Thank you so much for tuning in. The final here in Wayne, Michigan. It is the Rockets over the Zebras in the city championship, 51-0.